Hello, math friends. Today we're looking at lesson 4.1.5. That's the second half of chapter 4, lesson 1. So make sure you write that at the top of the page in your math notebook. And we are talking about scatter plots today. What's a scatter plot, you might ask? Well, we're about to find out. Now, many situations in real life can be described in pairs of numbers. Medical charts record height and weight of a patient. Weather reports might include temperature and wind speed. Automobile specifications include vehicle weight and gas mileage. You can analyze the relationship between two quantities by graphing them on a coordinate plane. This kind of graph is called a scatter plot. So, here's how we make a scatter plot. First, you take a table of data, like the one you see here, comparing the height and weight of players on a soccer team. And then what you do is you take those pieces of data and you put them into a graph using the coordinate plane. Now, you can see here that I have created my own scatter plot here. Across the bottom, I have the height of the players in inches. And then up the side, I have the weight of the people, the players in pounds. And then I have taken the data from the table and placed it into my scatter plot. So, starting at the first, somebody who was 72 inches high, so 70, 71, 72, was 190 inches tall. And so 72, 190, dot. 70 inches tall, 170 pounds, dot. And I did the same thing with each and every one of the points on the graph. So you might want to take a minute and copy down the table and the graph and fill it in. I'll wait. You need graph paper. Okay, so now that we've made the scatter plot, check. We can estimate the weight of a player who is 69 inches tall. Now notice there are a couple people on the team that are 69 inches tall. We had here 69, it's just one down from 70. And 69 inches tall, one person is 150 pounds, another person was 160 pounds. So if we were to take those two values together and add them and find the average, we would find that a good average weight could be someone that they would weigh 155 pounds. So someone who's 69 inches tall, they could be 155 pounds. What about someone who's 71 inches tall? Well, if we look on our scatter plot, go over here to 71, go up there. There's only one person on the team that's 71 inches tall, and he weighs 180 pounds, he or she. And so we could say, yeah, 180 sounds like a good estimate based on the data that we have here, because it's right there. So how does the weight change as height changes? As people get taller, what happens to their weight in general according to the chart? Well, I mean, honestly, we can see that as you get taller, you tend to weigh more. So as the height increases, the weight increases. That answers this question. Now, what would you expect a player who is 74 inches tall to weigh? I don't know. Well, let's take a look here. What we could do for this is to 74. Well, here's 75. We don't have 75. We have 76. Here's someone that weighs 76, 74, 73. Now, if we were to connect, I don't know, just connect a line between those two and go to where 74 is, 74 inches. I don't know, we could probably fairly safely assume, I guess, that a person that weighs 74 inches who is 74 inches tall, would weigh 185 pounds, because that's where that line crosses our graph. About 185. That sounds reasonable. Of course it does. All right, so that's how we can use a scatter plot. We can use it to assess all kinds of data items and answer different questions about the data that is in the chart. Okay, now if we are interpreting a scatter plot, and interpreting means reading it, making sense of it, and gaining information from it, we can take a look at this scatter plot here. To the right, you can see the relationship between the weight of an automobile and its gas mileage. And so here we have the weight of the automobile and its gas mileage over here in miles per gallon. So from the graph, what's the gas mileage of a car that weighs about 2,600 pounds? Well, this would be 2,000 pounds here. Here's 3,000. Right in the middle is 2,500. So 26 would be probably right there. And so what would be the gas mileage of this vehicle? Well, if we go over this way, that's 20, that's 24, so halfway 22. We could probably assume that that's about 23 miles per gallon. And what about a car that weighs 4,000 pounds? Well, if we go over here, a car that weighs about 4,000 pounds, here's this one sitting at about 16 miles per gallon. So we could probably safely say, yeah, about 16 miles per gallon sounds about right. So what happens to the gas mileage? How does it change as the weight increases? So as the weight of the car goes up, what happens to our gas mileage? Does it go up as well? No, as you can see, as the weight of the car goes up, our gas mileage goes increasingly in a downward progression. So gas mileage, sorry about that, gas mileage decreases as weight increases. Right, as the weight goes up, gas mileage goes down. All right, so scatter plots. They're kind of fun to make and interpret. Just need a set of eyes and some graph paper. And here is your practice for today's lesson. You're going to need graph paper. Make sure you got some graph paper. Just follow the instructions. Make your own scatter plot. Have fun with it. I'll see you next time. Don't forget to be awesome.